gratitude is a gift you give yourself. When you take that time to do your daily gratitude practice, all of the benefits are really coming to you by putting your heart in this open state. Welcome back, friends, and happy Thanksgiving to everyone who's in the States and who's celebrating today. The topic is probably no surprise, but we're talking about gratitude. This is the day every year that most of us really think about gratitude, and we think about being thankful, but really there's a life-changing impact when we make a practice of gratitude every single day. And so when it becomes part of our habits and our lifestyle to have a grateful heart, it changes things. And so today we're going to talk about, well, what really changes? What does that really look like on a practical level to have a grateful heart, and to not just make giving thanks something that we do once a year when we're all sitting around a table, hopefully not eating dry turkey, but, associating it with this holiday that we have. So first thing I want to talk about, so I brought a little toy today. And so any of you who are students of Peter Levine will immediately recognize that this is a Huberman sphere. Peter Levine created somatic experiencing and wrote many impactful books about healing trauma. His most well-known is Waking the Tiger. And so what he likes to talk about with this is the concept of expansion and contraction. And so what I want you to think about today as we go down this whole list and talk about gratitude and all the benefits of gratitude, I want you to think of gratitude as a feeling of expansion. We talk about having like an open heart and having a heart of gratitude. And within the teachings of somatic experiencing, expansion is health. Expansion is what happens in our body when we're in this ventral vagal state, when we're feeling safe, when we're feeling connected, when we're feeling just good in our body. It's this feeling of expansion. And when trauma happens or when something negative happens, immediately we clamp down and we go into contraction. And so you can think of contraction also as like this closed heart, right? And our body being bracing and just having this disconnected, contracted experience with ourselves. And so a lot of the work that we do with the somatics is to get in touch with this contraction, feeling into it, and then allowing for expansion and knowing that there's this rhythm to it, right? There's always contraction after expansion. But how do we get to a place where we're really out here and we have mostly expansion? This is our experience of life, right? Getting to this place of openness and realizing that gratitude has a big part in allowing us to feel this open. And so I just wanted to give you that little visual as we talk about gratitude. Now, I'm going to keep saying a daily practice of gratitude. A recent episode, we talked about your morning routine, and we went through the miracle morning and how Elrod's savors. And gratitude is one of the elements that I've put into my savors practice where as part of my meditation, I turn it to gratitude, and it's very simple. And I'm also turning it towards tuning into my physical body. And this is something that you can try as well. In the beginning of my 10 minutes of meditation, the kind of the mantra and the focus that I have is I tune into breath. And so as my lungs expand, I just simply say, thank you, lungs. And I direct gratitude towards this organ that's keeping me alive. And as my breath comes out, I really tune into and and feel my heartbeat. As that air is coming out, it's easier to really just feel the beating of your heart. And I just say, thank you, heart, and direct gratitude towards this other organ that's keeping me alive. It's a very grounding practice. There's a lot of science and study behind the grounding effects of really just noticing your lungs expand, noticing your heart beating. So you're getting a benefit from that. But then when we're directing gratitude towards these organs, we're getting this expansion, right? We're getting this feeling of just openness. And the opposite of contraction is this expansion. And so that is one way that I've been able to make this gratitude a daily thing, because I do my meditation every single morning. And so it just becomes a habit. And so we're opening our heart in the morning. It helps keep us there in this more open, expanded state throughout the day. Okay, so let's look at what we can expect from a daily gratitude practice. So this first one kind of blew me away because I never really thought about this. But studies have shown that feelings of gratitude can really help to regulate cortisol production. So cortisol is that stress hormone that can really cause issues in our body. And so it's helping us to regulate cortisol production in our brain. And this helps us to reduce anxiety and stress. So that's one hand, it's helping us to really regulate this stress hormone. But then on the other hand, gratitude has also been shown to trigger our brain to release these happy neurotransmitters. So dopamine and serotonin. So it's like we're regulating and we're reducing the stress hormone, and we're increasing these hormones that make us feel happier and satisfied. And so you can see this opening our heart to gratitude. It's not just a feeling that we have. It's also demonstrated in our actual brain chemistry and in our hormones, which is really cool. This is, and we don't practice gratitude to get all these benefits, right? But we get all these benefits. So it really is a reinforcing cycle. Okay, so the next benefit that we get from a daily gratitude practice is an increase in happiness. Now, this makes a lot of sense because we just talked about how, dopamine and serotonin can be released and associated with feelings of gratitude. So it makes sense on a chemical level that we're feeling happier because we have the serotonin and this dopamine being released. But also, if we just think on a cognitive level, the level of our thoughts, when we are thinking gratitude and thinking thankful thoughts, we're thinking about what we do have, what is going right, what we are, happy to have in our life, as opposed to thinking about what we don't have, what's going wrong, what we want but don't have in our life. And so we can see that not only just on a chemical level, we're feeling happier, but cognitively, we have happier thoughts and we're focused on what we do have and on what's going good versus what we want and what we don't have. Okay, so another benefit to a daily gratitude practice is that it improves our relationships. And this makes total sense when we have an open heart to the people in our life and when we are noticing the great things about them and about the relationship. It has a positive impact and it increases positive feelings in the relationships. And so this is another great benefit. Like if someone told you, hey, you can take this pill and it's going to improve your cortisol levels and it's going to increase your dopamine and your serotonin and it's going to increase your happiness and it's going to make your relationships better. Be like, yeah, that sounds awesome. And this pill is actually just opening yourself to gratitude every single day. It's really powerful. So along the lines of increasing our happiness, when we are grateful, we have more hope in life. We feel hopeful because, again, we're focusing on the positive. We're focusing on what we do have, what is going right. And so when we're more hopeful, depression goes down, anxiety goes down. Like life just has more color when there's hope and there's possibilities. So when we do a daily gratitude practice, we have an increase in proactive behaviors. So these are those things that we know we should do, like exercise and eating healthy and drinking water and avoiding substance, right? We know the proactive behaviors that we should and could do when we take that time to be grateful every day. Studies show that just automatically, as a side effect, we start to do more proactive things for ourselves. So another benefit to this daily gratitude practice is just overall improved emotional well-being. And this really makes sense. And again, this takes us back to this idea of contraction and expansion, right? If expansion is health and well-being, then when we open our heart and we feel that gratitude every day, it's the opposite of being stuck and being contracted. When we get into a rut in life, or we have, a trauma happens that shuts us down and we're really stuck, this daily, just opening our heart a little bit to gratitude can really do so much to get this flow back into our life and back into our emotional well-being, right? And get us back to this place of expansion. So knowing that 5 or 10 minutes a day that you spend in a gratitude practice has all of these benefits, it really puts it in a different perspective from just thinking that, gratitude is something we do on Thanksgiving, or, back in the day when you would get a gift and your parents would be like, write a thank you note. And it's like, okay, that's when I need to feel grateful. But really just putting it into this perspective of gratitude is a gift you give yourself. When you take that time to do your daily gratitude practice, all of the benefits are really coming to you by putting your heart in this open state. And so now the question really becomes, how do we do this, right? How do we make it a daily practice? And so something that I had mentioned earlier is when I start my meditation, I really want to do two things. One is really to get that expansion of gratitude, right? To just feel that openness of gratitude. And then the other one is really connecting to my physical body before I use that as a jumping place to connect to consciousness, right? To just be really grounded in the physical body. And so the first 5 minutes of my meditation, very simple mantra, focusing on breath as you fill your lungs. Thank you, lungs. And as you exhale, really pay attention to feeling your heartbeat. And it can take a little practice to really be able to tune in and feel your heart beating. And then directing gratitude. Thank you, heart. That's a very simple way, if you meditate every day, to incorporate that gratitude. Another way that we can incorporate gratitude is in our daily affirmations, right? And again, this goes back to the miracle morning. And if you're doing a Savers practice where for the first 60 minutes when you wake up, you are doing, you're doing meditation, you're doing affirmations, you're visualizing, you're reading, you're doing some exercise, and you're journaling, right? And this becomes a practice where if you want to add something like gratitude, it's very simple when you already have such a habitual, like morning ritual. It's so cool when you start to structure your life that way, where you have these habits that are pillars in your day that you can adapt and update and change them as you see fit. And, we've talked about with meditation, if you meditate once a month, it's not going to do anything for you, right? It's not going to change anything in your brain. It's not going to become a habit where you get these daily benefits, really the power in improving our emotional, mental, spiritual well-being, the power in that is in a daily practice. Because when we do these things daily, it truly does rewire the brain, right? And we've really talked about that in the past, about how we are creating these new connections in our brain and then utilizing them over and over to make them, really defaults in our brain, which is so cool and simple, right? Because we're not spending a ton of time every day, but we're doing it every day. And that's the power of habits. So adding it to your meditation, adding gratitude to your affirmations, in the time when you're visualizing or when you journal, right? Writing down 2 or 3 things that you just notice you're grateful for in that moment is such a positive and simple way to do this, right? Just open your heart a little to that gratitude. So another thing that you could start to do is make it a habit to send out a gratitude text, right? And this is a practice that a lot of people will do where, in the morning, they just think of one person in their life and they just shoot them a quick text like, hey, I'm thinking of you today. So grateful that you're my friend. Or, I'm so grateful that you're in my life. And naming off some genuine things that you really appreciate about them. That's a great way to really get that openness of gratitude and then also strengthen your connections with people, right? That's a very powerful daily practice. Having just a thankful thought of the day. And this is something you can do, your alarm goes off and you're still laying in bed. You can create a practice where before your feet hit the ground, you think of one thankful thought, whatever that might be today. And then you can kind of hold that in your mind as you go about your routine and start to get ready for the day. Having gratitude mantras. And so I wrote a few down as options, but I think what's most powerful, and the same goes for affirmations, I think just tuning into what's coming up for you right now, right? Like if I were to ask you, like, what are you grateful for in this moment? And allowing your own thoughts to guide you in like, oh, I'm really thankful for this. Like, I'm thankful that it's colder outside and I can wear a jacket today. Every day there's a new thing that we're grateful for or experience or just a moment of gratitude. And it's really cool to follow that, being led by your own intuition. So here are some ideas if you're having a day where you're like, especially as this is new, just feeling like, I don't know what I'm grateful for. I don't know, what kind of mantra to have. So here's some options for you. I have everything I need. I'm really thinking about that. Like there's so many things that we want, but this idea that like, I have everything I need in this moment. And again, what is this doing? It's doing this, right? I'm grateful for my life and my health. I'm grateful for my life and my health. I'm grateful for my body. This is a great one to do while tuning into your physical body, right? Noticing your body, following sensations in the body. I'm grateful for my relationships. That's a really, really big one. We're relational beings and the connections that we have with other people really define us. And it's easy to take people in our life for granted, especially if they're consistent and especially if they're always there for you, right? And so those are the ones to really notice, like, I'm grateful for my relationships. And then just a very simple, and I love this one, I expand with gratitude. And maybe just even tuning in to the feeling of expansion in your body as you feel gratitude. And that's a super powerful one. So I hope that this has been helpful and just that it's gotten you to really think about the power of gratitude and motivated you to really try this out, right? For the next 30 to 60 days. Implement a daily gratitude practice and then notice in your life, is your stress going down? Are you happier? Are your relationships better? Are you doing more proactive behaviors, right? How is this impacting your life? And if after 30 or 60 days, you're like, you know what, this daily gratitude practice is making my life better, then I know that you'll continue to do it for a lifetime. And that's where we can really, really continue our self-improvement and change our lives. So thank you so much for watching. Again, a very happy Thanksgiving to everyone who's celebrating today. I hope you're able to connect with some loved ones and have some delicious food. I will be back next week with another message. If you like, please like this, subscribe, and leave me a comment. Take care.